Hi guys, Gunpowder Handshake back again. Today we're going to be talking about the rifle you see before you. I did some research on YouTube before I picked it up the other day, and there's not a lot of information on YouTube. There's a couple forums there's quite a bit of information on. So aside from the shooting videos you see online, I figured I'd do a little more information about it. This is called the Ruger Target Tactical. It's the 22 long rifle. Now with this, there's a few features on this that resemble other Ruger models. It does have the receiver similar to the 1022. The difference mainly is the Hogue overmolded stock. It's a free-floating stock, if you will, that the barrel really doesn't touch. Kind of worried me at first because it seemed like it wasn't, like it was loose. But after doing a little more research, I found out that was the way it was supposed to be. The barrel, I'll zoom in a little bit. You can kind of see on it. Part of it's called a hammer forging process. It's really neat. It's got a nice little groove line to it. It does come stock with the bipod. Now when you buy this rifle, the MSRP on this through Ruger's website, I believe is $569. Now with that, you get everything you see here minus the scope. The scope does not come with it. It does come with the scope mount rail, which it is a Weaver rail, if you will, but the scope was extra. Also on the scope, I decided to buy the flip caps. I just didn't like the cheap, excuse me, I didn't like the cheap plastic ones that came with it that had the little bungee cord. I've learned a lot of times you're out somewhere, you don't set up and you shoot, you take them off. Sometimes you forget them, sometimes you don't. With this, they're Butler Creeks, one button on the back. On the front, you simply just flip it up and they secure back down. Now the scope that I went with is actually a Tasco. I bought the rifle used, and it came with the Tasco on it. I thought about replacing it. It's a 3x9 by 40, I believe, which it's not a bad scope for a 22. It's not something I'd put on any other rifle. I may get something a little nicer for this one because it is a Target model. Now, with this one, let me go over some of the specs real quick, guys, so you know a little bit about it. The barrel length is a 16.12. The material and the receiver is an alloy steel. The barrel is what they call hammer forged. It comes with no sights on it whatsoever, iron sights. It does come with one 10-round mag you see laying in front of it there. The finish is a black satin. The overall length of the firearm is 34.50. It's actually kind of short. I'll compare it to another 22 in a second. This is where it really makes a difference. The weight of this weapon is 6.88 pounds. That's almost 7 pounds. The length or the rate of twist is 1 in 16, right hand. Like I said, suggested retail from Ruger is $569, I think $579, somewhere in that ballpark. Now when I compare it to a regular 22, hit the barrel on that one. And guys, these are 22, so this one, the action is back, my finger's in it. I'll actually show you. You can take a flashlight and just shine right up in there, and you can see that. Now this one, I'll go ahead and bring back. There's no magazine in it at all. I actually lost the magazine. It's a Norco JW15 model. Let me push it a little further down so you can kind of see the length. And you can see that the stocks are very similar. The Hogue is actually about 3 inches longer, but the barrel is where it's a big difference. This barrel, like I said, is a 16.12. The Norco barrel is actually a 20-inch barrel. So there's a huge difference there. Now the one good thing about this, and I'll show you another video of a whole disassembly on it. It's actually very simple, just like all the other 1022s, but a little easier because there is no plate on the front here, or no band, if you will, barrel band. Since this is free floating, there's nothing this goes down into it, just goes in between it. There's one screw here, everything comes out. You got to line the safety, kind of push it in the center to bring it out. Barrel, there's 2 screws there and a V-block, and the barrel comes off the receiver. The scope, you can take it off if you want. bipod, you unscrew it and it comes off. So the gun disassembles really quickly, really fast. Most of your local emporiums, gun shops, so on and so forth, should carry this weapon for around $400 to $450. That is without the scope. Now, I had a buddy that's looking to buy one actually, and he's looking for the Leopold to put on it. And I know it's Leopold. Yeah, that's a great argument there. And I said it wrong, I apologize. But anyways, I don't see putting a $300 scope on a $400 gun. It just it doesn't make much sense to me. I know the guys run the the ACOGs on the ARs and stuff, but if you've got an $800 sight, I'm hoping your AR is more than $1,000. But with that one, it's a $60 sight at Academy. I think $65 at Walmart, something like that. On the other 22, I've got a Bushnell that came on my 770 Remington. You guys seen the video? It's a couple videos back. I did a review on it. It's a good gun. Makes a little bit of noise in the action out in the woods, but a little bit of grease fix that, or lube. I think I actually used gun grease to solve that problem. But Bushnell scope was okay. I went with the Tactical World Class. Just one way too big for the gun, but I enjoy it. I haven't done much hunting with it. The 308 I get a little more hunting with. The 222s, they're great. I mean, this one hasn't been fired yet. I just picked it up. I wanted to do the video on it. I wanted to show you guys a little bit more about it. If you're thinking about getting one, keep in mind this scope mount back here, and I should have looked up the name before I did the video, I apologize. This scope mount here is a very small scope rail. Very, very small, and I'll show you that a little more in detail. I'll bring it up for you. I don't know if you guys can see this rail right here is a really small rail. Now on the Target Tactical, it's actually like an AR rail. So any scope, any red dot, anything that fit on your AR would go right on the Target Tactical. I just think that barrel is, I don't know if you guys can really see that barrel, but it's so nice. And then at the top of it, you can't really, right there it says Ruger Hammer Forged. I mean, beautiful looking gun, it really is. They've got an all wood model that's got the bull barrel on it, but it's not doesn't have the hammer forging design to it. Nice looking gun, but I really like the Target Tactical. Like I said, this one's about 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds, really light 22. This one is not, this one's about 7 pounds. You hear me grunting, I must be out of shape now. It's just the barrel, it is top heavy on this side. The barrel is much more heavier than anything this way. So when you pick the gun up, it naturally, and because of the bipod being on the front as well, it naturally does tilt forward or canter forward a little bit. So we don't get a sling for it. We may take the bipod off. You can attach it to the bipod or without the bipod on it, the sling. So we may see how that works. I've never been a huge fan of bipods because they have a big tendency to wobble, and I've actually seen a guy hunting and he decided to use his bipod while he was hunting, and he went to lean it onto a tree, and the very first thing he did was, I don't know if you guys heard that on camera, but that's the downfall. The springs, they're just too loud. Now there are bipods that don't use the spring assemblies. I like those a lot better. If you're going to hunt with it, don't have springs on your bipod. There's just no point for it. You're going to make a lot of noise, and unless you're hunting a death animal, it's kind of pointless. Other than that, guys, I haven't shot it yet. I will do a test run through it. It does accept the 10 round mag as well as the 25 round mag. Any Ruger 1022 parts it accepts. If you take the barrel off, you take the stock off, you have yourself the 1022 receiver. So I just wanted to go over it a little bit more. I really like the gun. The first thing I did, because it was used, one of the first things I wanted to find out was check if anybody had opened this up and messed with any of the internals here. Real quick way to check that. There's a mod out there, and I know you guys have seen the video. Pull the bolt back, lock the bolt up. Stay away from the lock down here. Take your hand. If it stays locked, it doesn't release, then the modification hasn't been done. Some people love that modification, so that's great if you want to do it. I'm going to go in and tighten a few things up. A few things are a little loose on the gun. But aside from that, I just want to make sure that when my son shoots it, that it was bought for a target gun, long distance for him. So I really want to make sure that it fulfills that. If you guys have any recommendations on improving the accuracy on these, by all means, let me know. Don't know that much about it. Like I said, the information I've told you is all verified. You can check Ruger's website, the weight, the cost, MSRP, all that good stuff. Aside from that, I'll tell you a little bit more about the functioning. It is a 10-22. We all know how reliable these guns are. They fire every time. I mean, as long as you run a decent ammo, and even the cheap Walmart ammo runs to these guns great. So, do a few videos of my son shooting it, hopefully here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I've got a couple more videos coming out, guys. Also, as I mentioned, I have a Norco JW15. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and it should be on the barrel here, this is made in China. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's Inner Arms, Alex, Virginia. I apologize, I thought it was Chinese. If anyone knows, I've heard the CZ452 mags will work. If anyone knows where I can get any of the mags, the factory mags for the Norco, the JW15 model, or a decent deal on some CZ452, I believe, by all means let me know. I'm always looking for those. That's his rifle that he had. It didn't have a magazine, so it was just, I thought it was a really nice feature. We all hate to use single shot, so I thought it was a really nice feature to kind of upgrade onto the 10-22. And I wanted to pay a little extra because everybody wants to build them, but why not start off with something that's going to be a nice, squirrel gun. I mean, this thing will shoot one really nice. I bagged one earlier this year with this. Worked great. It took me a little while to sight the scope in, but if you see the difference in the size of the barrels there, I mean, I can't wait to see the accuracy difference. I mean, that's a huge difference. That barrel is about the same size as my 12-gauge shotgun barrel on that 10-22. Well, guys, Gunpowder Handshake, wanted to go over it with you. Wanted to give you some information on it. Just wanted a new video out there on the 10-22 because before I bought it, I looked and there wasn't a lot on it. I've got the other videos uploading soon. Keep an eye out for those. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and click right up there and subscribe for me. Any requests, guys, anything, any gear, any weapons, anything you're curiosity about, just ask anytime. Alright guys, Gunpowder Handshake, signing out.